gender, she, her, and I'm one of the WalkOut2Learn organizers, and I'm a first year in college.
Explain, what is this event for and about?
Yeah, so this is WalkOut2Learn. This is part of a statewide movement that's happening today. Today, across the state, we have thousands and thousands of students and community members walking out in support of students' rights and educational freedom. At noon, we had hundreds of high schools all across the state physically walk out of class, and at 6 p.m., almost every major college campus in the state of Florida is hosting a rally, and that is what you're seeing here right now. This is New College's rally. We weren't able to hold it on their campus due to some miscommunication with campus police, so instead we're here, and we're so happy to be here.
So you mentioned like students in colleges and high school.
Yes.
When you talked about like in the last interview, I heard you saying something like about Ron DeSantis and the bills and all that stuff being passed out. What kind of like bills are being passed out that affect the rights of the students?
Absolutely. So there are, first of all, a lot of book bans. That is a big one. In both high schools and colleges, depending on where you are in the state of Florida, books that talk about diverse subjects such as LGBTQ+, books that feature LGBTQ+ people, black people, anything that has to do with African American history or LGBTQ+ history is at risk. Not only that, but there's laws that are banning the talk of menstruation in school if you're under a certain age. There are laws that are trying to put limits specifically on black fraternities and sororities. Social justice organizations on campus have been limited, and teachers have been limited from talking about LGBTQ+ issues. In some schools, really all across the state, but there are even laws going into effect right now that will force school officials to out students to their parents.
What age did they say specifically in like the bills or?
High school specifically. High schools and middle schools are being targeted. Elementary schools are dealing with so many book bans. Any and every age that they can target, they are.
Now, are you familiar with the book, like the Gay BCs?
Yes.
Okay. Are you familiar with like, I think My Baby Binary or something? My Baby is Binary?
I'm not sure about that one.
Okay. What about the book, This Book is Gay?
Yes, that one I know.
Okay.
Very well.
What age would you say that would be appropriate for children to read and to get into?
I don't think that there's any inappropriate age for students to be reading about LGBTQ+ subjects. I don't think that there's any inappropriate age for students to be reading about LGBTQ+ subjects. Of course, some books are going to deal with more complex and more mature subject material, so maybe a book that's right for a high schooler isn't right for an elementary school student or a middle school student. Just like any book, all books are meant for different grade levels, so I think it's important that we have diverse curriculum available and digestible for all ages. For all ages.
Now, do you agree with like the whole like transgender movement that's happening for children to transition?
Yes, so there is definitely been a lot of issues facing specifically the trans community as well. What I can tell you is that I think that parents know best what their kids need. Parents know best what their kids need. And I don't think it's quite right for the state to step in when it comes to an issue that serious.
So what about, because I work with a 9-year-old and a 10-year-old.
Wow.
I also work with kids in my church.
Amazing.
Second grade all the way up to 5th and 8th grade.
Yeah.
When I try to explain like certain topics, even with the Bible, they don't have the ability to understand it. So what if they don't understand the procedures that are going to be taken fully on them when they are told about hormone blockers, puberty blockers, or even transitioning? Should the parents still go forth into transitioning their children, or?
I'm not a doctor or a psychologist. So I can't speak quite to that, but I trust that there are doctors and psychologists out here that are doing the right things for kids. And that those people are being limited. So I think we need to work on that.
Is the procedure that's taken when it comes to transitioning, is it permanent or can it be reversed?
I'm not a doctor, so I don't want to answer anything incorrectly.
Okay. Another thing for the students and everything, do you think parents should have the right to at least understand what their children are being taught in like library readings at school? If there's going to be like a drag queen that comes in to read a book, that parents should know at least about it, to at least have the option to opt out or not?
I think there's a big difference between what is legal and what's ethical. I think that for a parent to do that, would it necessarily be illegal? I'm not sure. But would it be ethical? Not necessarily. But we're not here focusing today on what specific families are choosing to do. We're here focusing on what the state is doing. Because the state is actually limiting parents from making those choices for their children.
So I saw a shirt that said, God is trans. Do you think that religion should have any say when it comes to the issues that are happening right now when it comes to children, transitioning, etc.?
I think that, again, that's up to individual families. The shirt that says that God is trans, that is an individual's choice to believe that. That is their religion. If that's not your religion, or if that's not the religion of others, that is okay. No one's forcing anyone to believe a certain thing when it comes to religion. So, no, I don't think.
My last question is, when does it become intolerant for Christian churches when it comes to teaching or preaching on, gender or gender roles, sex, or how God made them in their image? When does it become intolerant for the church?
That's not really a question I can answer, because we're here dealing with state issues today, not issues of religion in the church.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you.
Yes, thank you.